And welcome back to Beery Good Entertainment. I am Linda, and I am here with my lovely friend Lola. Hi, Lola. How you doing?
I am doing great. Got some makeup on.
I noticed your eyes look fantastic.
Thank you. Well, I finally got some contacts I like. It's the contacts the dude gave me last year were horrible. They were I now know the problem was he gave me, I don't remember what he calls them, but they're dual contacts. They're supposed to be like bifocals.
Oh,
One contact is for near and one contact is for far. And I couldn't wear them because I felt like a puzzle piece put together. And like there was this fine, almost invisible line in between my vision. And like every time I walked, I was like, this side is going this way, this side is going slightly this way. And it was like,
oh, you just never got used to it.
I never got used to them. And I couldn't afford to go back and get more because I had bought 6 months worth. So I just didn't use them. That's why I've been wearing my glasses for the last year. So this time I went back. I said, those contacts aren't working. So he put me in more dual contacts. And I said, I still feel like I'm swimming. I feel like pieces of the world are coming away and coming back and stuff. So finally, the third time I went back, I said, I do not want any more dual contacts. I want just mono contacts. And you know what he said? He said, yeah, I tried those dual contacts too, and they made me sick. I have to do mono too. I wanted to punch him. I wanted to punch him.
You give them to me.
Right, but he says it makes him sick and he can't use them. And he was going to give me dual contacts again, but I insisted on the mono contacts.
My God. And, talk about market manipulation. He was probably having them shoved down his throat by the supply company.
Well, I wondered about that. I don't know. But yeah, I was fairly perturbed about that. But these work great. I've been wearing them for 2 weeks. I wear them sometimes till 8 o'clock at night. So we're talking 6 in the morning to 8 o'clock at night. I mean, the only thing is they do get clouded up every few hours. So I have to put drops in. But other than that, they're fine. And I'm not going to complain. Another thing that annoyed me, because the year before he had given me contacts. Yeah. And I couldn't remember why I'd stopped wearing them because they'd been okay. And I said, well, what about those contacts from the other year? What was wrong with them? And he looked at the notes and he said, oh, you said they started to cloud up around 11 a.m. And I said, I'll take it. It's okay. I don't mind. He was like, no, let's try these others. And I was like, that was the only thing wrong with them. They clouded up around 11 a.m. Give them back. And he was like, no, we're going to try something else. I was like, so I'm never going to let him change these ever again.
Yeah, unless it's like the strength of them to make you see better. Yeah.
Well, that's the thing, though. My eyesight is so better. I still, even with these, I don't have 20/20. It's more like 20/40. Yeah. But I don't care. I can see enough. I can see the computer. I can read. I'm good. Fine.
That's fine. Excellent. Yeah. And they look really great with your eyeshadow.
Thank you. Yeah, I got all my makeup out. Since I've been wearing my glasses for a year, I haven't been wearing makeup as much because it's hard. Take the glasses off, you can't see, and you're like...
Yeah, to try to put the makeup on.
So I haven't been wearing makeup as much, but now I got my contacts in, and I got some of my makeup out. Okay, I got my makeup
out. Okay, now you got the fabulous eyes. I don't necessarily want to use this in a pejorative sense, but the banging lips. And
thank you. That's okay.
The totally hot hairdo. You're beautiful.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Yeah, I got my hair cut $39 before the tip.
Hey, that's actually not bad for around here.
Really? Oh, that's high living for here.
Well, I mean, I get this bleached, and I if I get this bleached and colored, it's about $100 and a 3-hour job.
But you're getting it bleached and colored. I'm just getting a haircut. But they shampoo, which my last hair salon would charge $25, but they didn't shampoo.
Don't they give you wine too?
This new salon gives me wine. And I did not mean for this to happen, but I happened to get there extremely early this time because I didn't check the calendar, and I just thought the appointment was around 2:30 like it had been before, but the appointment wasn't till 3. Yeah. So I sat there, and manager, I guess, I don't know who she was. She brought me a glass of wine. And then when the hairdresser came and got me, half an hour later, she was like, "Would you like some wine?" And I said, "Well, I already have a glass." She said, "Would you like another?" And I said, "If they don't mind, because I didn't want to make it look like I got there early so I could get an extra glass of wine." And she said, "It's fine." So she got me a second glass of wine. So I was toasty.
Yes, I'm the lush who gets here for wine, and you can do whatever you want with my hair. Just keep giving me wine.
I know. I didn't want it to seem like I was trying to get more wine. It was an accident. I didn't mean to get there half an hour early, but I did get 2 glasses of wine. So, in my head, I'm like checking that off the register. I'm like, okay, well, that would have been $12 at a restaurant.
Yeah,
so
I
that
know.
brings us down to 27. I'm like, okay, it's worth it.
Woo! I don't have to go to the bar after this.
I know. I was like, woo! I ended up, by the time I got home, I ended up not drinking anything more because I was like,
yeah,
I was tired. Doing all right. Yeah, I was kind of tired by the time I got back. I was like, I've had a full day.
So what do you have to drink today?
I have something new. I don't remember the name of it. I got to go to Beer 30. This was an apology from Clint because we were supposed to go to a convention in Orlando a few weeks ago, and he didn't feel like going. So I said, I'm not mad. I said, but if you want to make it up to me, you can take me to Beer 30. So I went to Beer 30 and bought $100 worth of beer.
Wow, that's an awfully good apology.
Well, no, I paid for it. No.
Oh,
he just took me there.
He took you there.
Yeah, the apology is he took me there. I spend my own money, believe me. Yeah, no, I wouldn't even ask him to spend that much money. But yeah, so I got a ride to Beer 30, and I got a whole bunch of stuff. I'd never heard of this or seen it.
Strange Fiction by Collective. Oh, Stranger Than Fiction,
which is a great movie, by the way.
Is that Collective Arts Brewing?
Let me see. I think so. I have a few from them. God, I just talked about my contacts, and I can't see this, but that's mainly because it's dark. There's not an overhead light. Maybe we better look it up. It's a porter. I can see that much, but look at the back. Can you see the eyes?
Yeah. That's cool.
Isn't that totally cute?
2 eyes in they look like almost like cheetah eyes in a huge bunch of dots in symmetrical circles all over the place. Oh, it's gorgeous.
Yeah. It's like if you're drawing fur, you might do little slashes for fur.
Yeah.
It's kind of like they're drawing little fur, but it's black and white.
Yes, it is Collective Arts Brewing.
Collective Arts. Okay. Did you look it up?
Wow. Yeah.
Tell me about it. I haven't looked up anything about it.
So actually it looks like it comes in either a 4-pack or a single can or 6-pack. Pardon me.
It's gonna blow. It's gonna blow.
Oh no, really?
Okay. Oh yes, it blew a little bit. Okay. Right, go on.
I'm trying to see I see the art, but I don't see the information on the beer.
Oh no. I can't see anything.
It says store.collective arts brewing. Weird.
What about
Collective Arts Brewing? Come on, give me some. Oh, here we go. .com.
Okay.
Yes, I am of legal drinking age, and they've got a really great looking guy with a guitar on the front page.
Ooh.
So they are definitely with it. Collective Arts Beer Garden. No, beer.
I can't look up anything because I just spilled beer on the keyboard, so I can't do anything. I'm stuck. Yeah.
Nothing Evolutionary Artist Series. They've got a really weird brewing site.
They've got a really weird brewing site. Your California came out.
Profits and No Man's Jam Up the Mash. I don't actually see Stranger Than Fiction. They've got their beer mixed in with hats and stuff. Oh, core lineup. Oh, it must be a seasonal.
Okay.
Seasonal IPA, peach IPA, blah 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 blah. No,
this
load
porter.
more.
It says it's a porter.
Load more. Guava, liquid, sour, Berliner. Load more. My goodness, they have a. This is a Collective Arts. You have a terrible website.
Well, that sucks.
And there's really no way to search for it. I don't know where it is. I don't even know what it is. Oh, I'll bet if I put Collective Arts Stranger Than Fiction into Google, Rate Beer will always help you.
Yeah.
Okay, it's 5.5%, 25 IBU.
That's nothing.
So how does it taste?
Oh, my computer's going crazy because I spilled beer on it.
Oh, no.
Yeah. All right. So, like, the screen is jumping out, and oh, dear, YouTube is playing. Okay. Hold on.
Technical malfunctions.
And YouTube is playing.
Uh-oh. I think we just lost her. So I'm going to start on my beer. This is Coniston Brewing Company. This is Bluebird Bitter in honor of our British entertainment. It's bottle conditioned, award-winning English ale, and we all know the English really love their bitters. This Bluebird is a fine session ale. Session ale is no joke because this is only 3.6%. I'm actually really glad because I have a long night to go. Light golden color, the intense resinous and spicy hop character, which is the beer's hallmark trade, is derived from the use of unusual quantities of English Challenger hops. And it also has Maris Otter and crystal malt. Oh, you're back.
Yeah, you can go on with yours and then I'll drink mine.
Nice amount of carb on this and a very pretty bluebird-like cap.
Matches your shirt.
It does. It does. This is actually my work shirt. I love this shirt because it's so nice and cool in the summer.
It looks like it.
Oh my goodness, this pours like a hazy dark gold. It reminds me of summer straw. It's definitely plenty of carb and a super light. This is only 3.6%.
That's not. Yeah, you'll still be fine for the day. That's what I call
good because I have a long night to go.
That makes sense.
This is very biscuity. It's just slightly hoppy, very tasty, very refreshing. Light on the palate, goes down nice and easy. Definitely a perfect session ale.
Good.
This would be fantastic with food. I think I'm going to save just a little bit for later because I got an Australian sausage roll from the Australian meat pie.
Neat. I don't even know what that is. I don't even know what that is.
We have an Australian meat pie shop here in Corvallis. And
cool.
We also got a little jar of Vegemite. We tried Vegemite for the first time.
I've never had it. What did you think of it?
It was a little salty, but it tasted really rich. I don't know why people flip out over Vegemite because it actually tasted really good. It tasted really good.
I don't even know what it is. I mean, I've heard of it, but what is it made of?
It tastes like a vegetable paste. It's like made with all kinds of spices, I think, and herbs and whatnot into a paste. It's really nice. It's nice on crackers, nice on bread.
Okay, one day.
Well, how about yours?
Okay, I haven't even poured mine yet. Let's see. Okay, so I know it's a porter. That's about all I know about it.
It pours nice and dark, and the head looks good.
And even in the dark, I can see the bubbles. It's bubbly. I'm not going to do the whole thing. There. Ooh, look at that.
It looks really cool. It looks really cool when you pour it because the eyes look like they're looking at me.
I know. Isn't it cool? Like judging, like, don't you wish you had it? Don't you wish you had this, Linda? You can't have me. You can't handle this beer. You can't handle it. Look at me. Okay, I lost my mind. Look how pretty. Oh.
Very pretty. Very dark. Nice head.
It smells, I mean, nothing really unusual about the smell. It's not, I don't smell a whole lot of hops or anything. It smells like a porter.
Uh-huh.
Pretty good. There aren't any flavors that really stand out. I don't know if it's supposed to have any flavors. I can't even see the can. It tastes like a porter. You know, it's a little thin, but porters I've noticed tend to be thinner than stouts. So yeah. It doesn't surprise me. It actually it almost has like a Coca-Cola texture because it's so bubbly.
Yeah.
And so light that it's like a beer flavored cola, which is okay with me. That's fine. Yeah.
It says on Rate Beer, it says a full-bodied porter with plenty of roast flavors as well as hints of molasses and chocolate.
I get the malt, but I don't really get molasses or chocolate. It tastes like a porter, but that's fine. It's a good porter.
Mm-hmm.
And, you know, I like that it's not so heavy. Sometimes I want something heavy, but sometimes you don't, especially since there's so much of it. I don't need anything heavy if I'm going to drink. What is this, a pint? It looks like a pint.
It looks like a full pint.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah, this is probably the perfect viscousness for 16 ounces.
5.9. Yeah, well, yeah, 5.5%. Same thing on the can as on Rate Beer. So, yeah.
So that's pretty good.
That's decent.
I'll be okay. Yeah, I won't be like falling out of the chair or anything. So that's okay. I'll be all right.
Well, as it is turning into summer, we do have beer news. Would you like to pick one?
Well, I have to get back into the the Drive document. I'm afraid to touch my keyboard.
I will tell everybody first about the events.
Mm-hmm.
Now, we've here in Oregon, we've all seen the cherries on the wall. I mean the store shelves.
I've heard of writing on the wall. Yeah. Cherries on the wall.
Yeah, every year, you know, you see the cherries on the wall. The cherries start to come out, and you know, it's and once reserved as the sacrificial beer at the Round the World beer tastings, the Creek beer has made its way to prominence in Oregon.
Oh, Creek.
Because we grow beautiful cherries. Yeah. And they actually make really great Creek beers. Yeah. So every year we have a Creek Fest, and you can check it out at www.creekfest.com. I didn't even put the date down. I am silly.
Oh no.
Saturday,
I'm not the only one.
Saturday, June 29th at Von Ebert Blendeveer. You can try lots of different Creek beers. It used to be that a specific type of cherry was used because this is a Belgian specialty. So it used to be that one type of sour cherry used to be used, and now different types of cherries are used from Oregon. So it's a lot trickier to balance the sour and sweet flavors. So it takes real skill for an Oregon brewery to do that. So you'll find some of the best Creek beers here.
So is Creek the same as a lambic?
A Creek, well, yeah, that's the original style is a Creek lambic beer.
Oh, okay.
Mm-hmm. I I'm not sure if they have different styles of different subsections of Kriek now, or whether it's just all Kriek lambic.
Yeah, I used to back before I started drinking all different kinds of beer. One of my go-to, if it was if I had just gotten paid or something, had a little bit extra money, was to go get the I forgot the name of it, but the lambic that everyone knows.
Yes, that was the sacrificial one at all the round the world beer tastings.
Everyone knows it, and I always liked it. I mean, but what I like to do is put it with another beer like a Guinness that actually have names at restaurants, like Snake Bite, I think is one of them, and Chocolate Cherries is one of them. They make drinks with it, and you put the lambic with like Guinness or Newcastle or something and make it into a new drink. And that way you double the amount you have, and it cuts down on some of the sugary taste, because that one is very sweet.
Very sweet.
Very sweet. It can get a bit much. So yeah, that used to be my thing to do. And I wouldn't mind getting it again. Yeah, Krieks are good. I like Krieks.
Yeah, I saw at least 4 different Kriek beers at Corvallis Brewing Supply today.
Okay.
Which is wonderful. I would encourage anybody that likes cherry to go try Kriek beers.
They're very good. Especially, I tell people, if they're not used to beer, like if they're like, I don't like beer, but they like fruit, I'd say drink a Kriek. You might like that even if you don't like regular beer.
Yeah, if you don't want the huge
and
hop,
sour.
Yeah, if you don't want the huge hop burst, then a Kriek is probably a good idea.
Yeah. Or any sour, really.
Yeah.
It's different. It's not your typical beer taste. When people think of ale, it's not that taste. It's different.
That's very true. Oh, shout out to Corvallis Brewing Supply, because they actually did help me find the Bluebird bitter, and it was only $5.25 per bottle. So
that's really good.
Reasonable.
Okay. I won't talk about how how much some of the beer I bought is. I bought a bomber that cost $26.
Oh goodness!
I know. I'll save that for another one of our shows. It's still in there. I decided I'm not doing fancy beers for our other show anymore because no one cares and I don't get to showcase it. So fancy beers are only on this show. No more. Do you want me to read?
I care about
Thank you.
Beers.
See, it still matters. Beer still matters.
Beer matters. # beer matters.
Exactly. Although I don't want anyone to think we're trying to do like a beer lives matters. But beer lives do matter. Beer matters.
Beer matters.
Beer matters. I opened up the Philly Best Beers article. Do you want me to read it?
Oh, sure.
Okay. All right. So from the Inquisitor from the Philadelphia Inquirer, Philly's Best Beers. 16 experts tasted 82 beers to tell you what to drink this summer. That's a lot of beer. Okay, it talks about some bacteria is needed for some beer, and some are in a barrel.
I think a lot of it at the top is just like how beer is made.
Exposition. Sometimes when I read an article, I'm like blah blah blah. I go through all the fluffy stuff. I'm like, just get to the meat of the article.
I think it's all the way I think the list is all the way at the bottom.
Okay, so I'm just gonna. There's actually a link for full list of finalists. I wonder if I should just click on that. Let me see.
I know the list is down at the bottom of the article.
Okay, so I'm just gonna keep on going down. Exposition, blah blah blah.
This tells you how they chose it, and
which I guess is important. Okay, all right. The best beers in Philly meet the 18 finalists from the 2019 Brewvitational. So I guess these are Philadelphia beers, huh?
Yeah, these are all the best ones in Philadelphia.
Okay, I've heard of Trogs. Number 1 is Schott German Pilsner, Sterling Pig Brewery. Number 2, Manor Light Microflora Diaspora. That's an interesting name. And these are very sessionable beers, light ABV, light IBUs. That's a Belgian table beer. Similar to what we were just talking about, number 3 is a raspberry tart ale from Troegs. And I've heard of Troegs, Troegs. I've heard good things about them. I guess I won't read the whole list because that would just take a long time, but I guess I could just kind of look at the highlights.
Sure.
There's a wit. There's a Berliner Weiss with peach. That might be interesting. There's a wild fermented double IPA. I always like those wild fermented ones, but I don't like IPAs that much, but I don't know.
I am surprised this list contains so few IPAs.
I know for a while the hot thing in the East Coast was the what do you call the beer with the sediment in it?
Oh, naturally fermented or bottle conditioned.
Well, there's a name that they were calling it, like not dregs, but there was a name. I can't remember the name, but they had a name for it where it had a lot of dregs in it.
I don't know. When I do my natural fermentation, it usually leaves sediment at the bottom of the bottle.
Mm-hmm. So, yeah. It actually surprised me that there's more IPAs, because usually when I think of IPAs, I think of West Coast. I don't necessarily think of New England, but everyone's on the IPA train.
Oh, yeah.
I guess it shouldn't surprise me. And they do them in categories. Okay, so that was new beers. And then there's barrel-aged beer. There's the Referend Beer Blendery. That's not even spelled right. Refferend. Referend Beer Blendery.
I don't see it. Wait. The barrel-aged beer?
Yeah.
Oh, I see the Berliner Berliner something.
Yeah, that's the first one. Berliner Mess.
Oh, yeah.
Spontaneously fermented pale wheat ale. Pale wheat? That's hard to say.
You know, I always think of spontaneously fermented as like a fairy showed up in our brewery one day.
What does that mean? It just spontaneously fermented? Boom! It bloomed. We might have to do some research and find out what the heck they mean by that. I mean, did it just ferment on its own? Like one day it was like, oh, fermenting! Oh! They're like, I found it by a river down at the creek. Poof. Okay. Poof. Something called Sticky Drippy Crystal Oaks Fermented Honey Saison.
That actually sounds really good.
I do like saisons.
I mean, we have an IPA here from Block 15 called Sticky Hands.
Oh, interesting.
And it's actually really good. So, you know, like the word sticky now is in my head associated with good beer.
Well, and also Funky Buddha has one sticky something, and it's like a marshmallow one. It's really good. So we like the word sticky.
Sticky is good.
Sticky, drippy, oak fermented honey saison. So we got oak, we got honey, we got saison. And that's from Tired Hands Brewing Company, because they're really tired because of all the sticky that they, their hands are sticky, and they keep having to do this to get the sticky off. So their hands are tired. We've got one called Colored Moon. That's a bourbon barrel-aged imperial stout, 10%. Woo! Head for the hills, everybody. Time to go home after that one.
Yeah.
Bourbon barrel-aged Russian imperial stout, 11.3%. I'll take it. Although it has 82 IBU. Might be
that's not uncommon for Russian imperial stouts. Russian imperial stouts usually are there to smack you around.
That's right. You got a point. Yeah. So it's like it's high on every level. It's got
in the mother Russia, beer drinks you.
Exactly. Beer is substantial.
Substantial in Russia.
Beer keeps you going for weeks. And that's from Double Nickel Brewing Company. And then we got a few more. Oak-aged Honor Wagon, mixed fermentation saison conditioned in French oak. 6% IBU. Doesn't say what the ABV. Oh, no, 6%. Okay, 6% ABV. IBU is not applicable.
Not applicable. It's probably so low, it doesn't really matter.
Okay, so that's Tonewood Brewing. So that is some of the best beers in Philadelphia, and I've never been to Philadelphia, and I may never go, so this may all be pointless to me. But
there are
hey, someone may go to Philadelphia.
There are a lot of new names here that I have never seen before. Besides,
I never heard of most of them.
Conshohocken Brewery ARS.
You know what would have been useful for them to say? It would have been useful to say if they're mass distributed or if they're just local breweries. That would have been useful to know. They should have made that different categories, mass produced and local, only local.
That would be interesting, although I highly suspect almost all of these, well, Trogs I know actually does distribute outside the Philadelphia area, but it'd be good if these could let us know if they were local. I believe most of them are local. A lot of beer events are kind of local when people, because trying to send beer out of state is so difficult.
Yeah. And they would want to have the representatives here, so they would probably have to travel here.
That's right.
Like when we have an event here, it's usually North Florida, and sometimes you'll get some Georgia beer, like South Georgia.
Mm-hmm.
So I understand. Plus, they want to support their local people because those are the people they're making business relationships with. I get it. I'm going to have to look up Jacksonville beer. I did have a Jacksonville beer. I can't believe I wasted $10 because I was in the gas station and I just saw a 6-pack of a red ale from a brewery at the beach called Atlantic Beach Brewing Company. So it's right at the beach. And I was like, oh, that might be interesting. I love red ales. I really do. That's one of my favorite styles. I love red ales. And so I bought the 6-pack, $10 and something, got it home, popped one open, drank a little and went, hop bomb!
Oh,
hop bomb! Oh, it's just all hops. Oh, fuck. And then I looked at the IBUs. I don't remember how many it had, but I was like, I should have looked at that in the store. But I was in a hurry and I wasn't thinking. If I'd smart, I would have looked at it. And actually, when I went to Untappd, I'd had it before.
Oh, and still didn't like it.
I know. So I should have been thinking. I didn't remember it, but I should have been thinking.
That's the first thing I look at when I look at a new beer is I whip out Untappd and I type in that title.
That's smart. I should have done that, but I didn't. And I should have looked at the IBUs. Because normally I love red ale. When I think of red ale, I don't think of hoppy.
No, you think of malt.
Yes, exactly. Light malt. It's, to me, that's usually a session beer. A red ale, it's like, there's enough heartiness to make me go, I'm drinking a beer, but not so much where I'm like, I'm falling off,
Yeah.
So I usually love red ale. So I was very disappointed. Nothing against the company. It's just not what I expected.
Well, I think we have time for one more story. Besides mentioning Eugene Beer Week starts Monday, June 3rd and runs to June 9th. Look it up, eugenebeerweek.org. There is one important story. Sierra Nevada is still waiting for the proceeds from the Campfire Beer fundraiser.
What? How so?
They partnered with a bunch of up to 1,400 other brewers.
Oh, good Lord. That sounds like a mess.
And nearly a quarter of all the breweries in the United States.
Wow, that's a lot.
Yeah. And almost half those brewers have yet to send any money raised from the beer to Sierra Nevada.
They must be furious.
Shame.
That's insane. And they'll remember that. I hope those breweries don't expect to do business with Sierra Nevada again. They won't.
No, I think Sierra Nevada is gonna remember that one.
I think they're remember. Oh, and this makes it even worse. It says that it's supposed to be going to the town of Paradise that was wiped out by fire.
Yeah, and that's where I was a firefighter. I know that area. That is, it's pretty painful to see them not get what they need.
Yeah. Yeah, they need that money. I hope to God that the article means that Sierra Nevada didn't get their. I mean, I hope the Paradise people got their money.
I don't know. I don't
Paradise
know.
got the money.
Sierra Nevada has confirmed the authenticity of this complaint. If you want to read the article, it's on fortune.com. Yeah. The article itself is called "Sierra Nevada is still waiting for half the proceeds from its campfire benefit beer," and every dollar spent on Resilience IPA was meant to benefit Butte County recovery efforts.
Yeah,
but it's not clear whether they just made up all that shortfall, or whether they just couldn't give that much.
I could see the problem, because it does say that every dollar spent is supposed to go to the recovery efforts, which is great, but that means that these breweries are donating their time, their ingredients, everything. So all of this is donated. So it is possible that they realized too late that they couldn't afford to donate all of that. It doesn't excuse it.
Yeah, they should have actually contacted Sierra Nevada, because this information came from a leaked Sierra Nevada letter.
Wow.
So, if they realized they couldn't actually do it, and half the brewers, I don't know.
They should have made arrangements. They should have said, "I'm so sorry, we over-promised ourselves, but we're going to get this to you," or something. Yeah, that's pretty nasty.
That is pretty nasty.
But the good news is it says that they have already raised millions of dollars.
Which is good, because people from the suffering from the campfires, it's terrible. It is terrible up there, and they're still waiting to hear. A lot of them are still waiting to hear whether they will be allowed to rebuild. So they're still spending money on temporary homes, on storage for the stuff they recovered, or pets, horses, other animals. They can't move on with their lives until this is done.
And that means, in the case of horses and stuff, that's their livelihood also.
Yeah.
They might have lost their livelihood.
Yeah, exactly.
This says that Sierra Nevada had 15% of their workforce lose their homes.
Yeah.
So it's directly affected Sierra Nevada.
Yeah, Sierra Nevada is located in Chico, California. And a lot of those people did live up. There's a long road that goes up to Paradise. And a lot of those people traveled from Paradise to Chico to work.
Okay. And so you know more about that than I do. You're familiar with that area. I have no clue.
And the fires there burn incredibly hot. Incredibly hot, and they're very hard to fight. Well, I believe that is all the time for news we have, because we have to talk about
TV.
Maigret,
which I really... Maigret. Some people said Maigret.
I heard from my friend Strider, it is Maigret.
Well, and I agree with you, but all the people in the TV show had English accents.
That, pardon me, I noticed that. What's
right
up
away.
With that? What's
that
up with
annoyed
that?
me. That annoyed
me. It didn't annoy me. It just confused me.
I disliked it at first. I ended up liking it, so don't get me wrong. I eventually did like it, but I disliked it severely at first because of that. Because to me, it seems lazy. It's like saying, I want to capitalize on the romance of France and make a show be set there, but I'm not going to bother to find any French people. I'm just going to put my British friends in there. No, we're not going to speak French. We're going to speak English, and we're going to have English accents. It's okay. No one will care.
And we'll film it in Hungary.
Oh, I didn't notice that. They filmed it in Hungary?
They filmed it in Hungary.
That doesn't surprise me because it's cheaper there.
English people in a French show filmed in Hungary. Now, there weren't a lot of like obvious signage problems in the very first half of the season in the first show.
Yeah.
So it wasn't really obvious to me, the whole non-French accent thing.
Yeah.
When you shift it over to the second episode, all of a sudden it's like French everywhere. And now it's very obvious that you have English dock workers and English people all over the place, and all the shop owners are English, and the bad guys are English,
or Czechoslovakian in some cases. They probably weren't even Czechoslovakians. They're probably English, but at least they tried to put on a Czechoslovakian accent.
I'm not familiar with the Czechoslovakian accent.
Me neither.
I
just know generic Slavic. That's all I know.
Well, this was set in 1955, and Maigret is our favorite bandwagon artist right now, Rowan Atkinson.
Yep, he's awesome.
Mr. I believe he is the chief inspector.
I think so of this area.
Yeah, because when we start in on the first episode, it's 5 months into a murder investigation in which, like, women have been killed already, and they're all killed the same way.
Yeah,
their clothes are torn open just slightly, and they've been stabbed in the back of the neck with a very small knife. And I really liked how Maigret had to take chances to find this guy. After
he
5
put his career on the line. Yeah,
he did. But after 5 months, people were really starting to ask. The media and the public were asking, "Hey, why haven't you caught this person yet?
What's going on?" Yeah.
And they all assumed it was a guy.
Yeah. I mean, typically serial killers are guys, but there have been exceptions.
Well, the very last victim was not killed by a man because she was not killed by the killer.
But she was killed for a reason. She wasn't. It wasn't because. Yeah. I mean, not that excuses it. Don't get me wrong, but she wasn't the serial killer profile.
No, she wasn't. She was just trying to. She was trying to prove her love over another woman's love.
She was one-upping the mother, which is creepy.
Yeah, when you see this is a messed up relationship. That the serial killer only married her, and the mother said they could get married as long as they lived with the mother. And they moved out as soon as they could when the mother was sleeping.
In the dark of night.
In the dark of night while my mother was sleeping. And you'd think that'd be the end of it, right?
Right.
But I guess the serial killer came to hate his wife.
He hated her too. Well, she probably had some of the same habits and mannerisms that the mother did. The possessiveness, the coddling. I mean, they say that you gravitate toward what you hate. I mean, if you were abused, then there's a chance you might gravitate, not physically abused, but at least mentally abused. You may gravitate towards someone who has those same expressions.
And that mother was seriously manipulative.
Very much so. Creepy.
Besides being creepily, like, clingy. I'd be like,
I wouldn't be surprised. The show didn't go into this, but I wouldn't be surprised if she had physically molested that boy. I really wouldn't be surprised.
That very well could have been. It very well could have been. And he eventually, like, when they finally figure out that it's the wife that did the final killing, like, he just turns to her and he turns into this animal.
Yep.
I hate you. I hate you. I've always hated you. I was like, oh.
Ow. Ugh, that's so gross.
No wonder he became a serial killer. Now, it almost kind of made me wonder, did he hate all women, like because of his mother and then because of his wife?
Well, I mean, he sought out women who had brown hair like his wife.
Yeah.
So, and we don't really get to see what goes on behind closed doors with them. We have no idea what was going on.
Yeah.
So if she was manipulating him, we don't know. But for whatever reason, he had grown to hate her too. I guess the coddling and I don't know.
Yeah. It was so creepy.
It was horrible.
It was really creepy.
Oh.
The actual show itself was good.
Very good.
But very, very serious. There is not a single bit of comedy in either of these episodes.
I'm trying to think if there was any levity. Even like with the other police officers.
Yeah,
any levity?
Even any, like, there would be some interdepartmental.
Yeah.
But there wasn't any.
Well, it's funny that brings me to one of the things I noticed. His character in this, Rowan Atkinson, his character in this is a lot like the Thin Blue Line character, and they're both very officious and very serious. They don't, they're the straight people as opposed to the other comedy. Like in Thin Blue Line, his character in that was the straight person, the serious one, and everyone else was the comedy. And in Maigret, he's very serious, although it's a different character, but it's still very serious. And it's that officiousness that, we have a job to do. We shouldn't pussyfoot around. That kind of thing that reminds me of both of those characters.
And when this first came out, The Guardian actually released an article saying that Maigret was supposed to be that reserved, character, that reserved internal type character, but that he came across to this person who wrote the article as just depressed, and he made the whole episode depressing. And I'm like, it wasn't depressing. It was involved. It was very involved. And I was just like, okay, so who's the killer? Are they going to do it again before Maigret can catch him? And then when Maigret's job is threatened, they decided they were going to bring somebody in. All of a sudden, he's like, you don't have to do that. I know who it is.
Well, he went rogue. Maigret went rogue. Maigret was like, how long do I have till Inspector What-to-Who comes in? And they said the morning. And he called in sick.
Yes.
And so did his other detectives. They called in sick.
Yeah.
And it was like, I'm ill, don't you know? And so I liked that. He really was putting his career on the line. Yeah. I mean, he really was skirting around the edges of what is allowed.
Yeah.
So I like he had a lot of dedication. Dedicated is the one word I would give to him. Dedicated. And he took everything to heart because he this was his responsibility. And then when he came up with a brilliant but dangerous plan to use his police officers as bait,
his women police officers, and he specified they had to be trained in self-defense.
But what did that mean back then? I mean, we know martial arts, we're familiar with martial arts now, but in 1952, what did defense training mean? They weren't doing Krav Maga, I'm sure.
No, that's true. But the woman, the police woman that he did attack, she did a pretty good job of fighting him off and grabbed part of his clothing and held
That
on.
was great. That was great. That was very smart.
So in her head, she did what she was told to, even not knowing she did it, because nobody realized she had it in her hand until Maigret saw she had it in her fist. The piece of cloth with the button.
And that broke the case wide open. They wouldn't have gotten anywhere without that, and that is a credit to her. So
there was a little bit of material evidence in the first one, in the first episode. No, but it was mostly making sure we understood who Maigret was and his thought process.
Yeah.
And his ferocity in catching this killer.
And he took it to heart, because when he went home, his wife was like, "Are you okay?" And he was like, "No." I don't want to talk about it. I like that he took it to heart. I mean, he took his responsibility extremely seriously.
Yes.
And he wasn't ready to have fun or go on vacation until this was sorted out. And I liked that.
Yes. Yeah, he couldn't just walk away and allow women to be killed while he was still on this case.
And I like that. We need more people like that.
That's good. In the second episode, we saw a lot more material evidence, like a lot more of the crime show stuff we associate with good crime shows was totally, making sure evidence is preserved and, taking it back and collecting all these things together to make a logical deduction. That's what we saw in the second one. But even then, I had no idea what was going on until the end.
You know what? I honestly thought, because I knew the two were connected. In the second episode, I knew that the death of the man must have been connected to the deaths on the farm, because otherwise we wouldn't be seeing it.
Yeah.
I mean, you just know that if we're seeing two different waves of crime, they must be related. Otherwise, what's the point of showing both of them?
Yeah.
And I thought that he was on the train. I thought that when they said the 220, I really thought they meant the train. But it turns out, no, they meant the horse gambling. And that it was a little bit like weird how he made the connection. The guy just happened to drop his ticket, and it was a weird trip. And our dead guy saw it. I was like, I know who you are. That was a bit, what's the word? There's a word I'm looking for, but I can't think of it now.
Not fatalistic. I know what you're talking about. It's
convenient.
Convenient, exactly.
It was a little bit convenient.
Convenient.
A little bit too convenient. I was kind of like, really? It would have made more sense if you'd just been on the train with them. But yeah. I knew they were connected, and it wasn't until the end, like you said, that we figured out how. But I think the reason we didn't figure out till the end was because it was kind of, I want to say trumped up, but I don't want to say that name.
Well, when they interviewed the little girl from the farm,
yep,
I finally pegged the whole thing that it was about the jewelry.
Yep.
I didn't understand what the farm had to do with anything, and there was this gambling track, and like they were bringing something to the gambling track, but I didn't get it. And as soon as the little girl, they explained the little girl had seen this woman force her mother to tell the woman where all the jewelry was. All of a sudden I went, oh, ding, 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 ding. It's a jewelry heist. To the track to sell it.
That's where they fence it. That's how they launder their goods.
Yeah, at the track.
Well, and they mentioned several times that the farmers were rich farms, which is something we don't think about. When we think of farmers, we don't think of wealth, because unfortunately in this day and age, farming does not mean wealth. But I guess back then, maybe it did.
Well, we know commercial farming now. These farmers were farmers that, they had these material goods.
Yeah.
Made them rich.
Yeah, they were the only providers of these goods. So I guess they did have the market. And that's why they were targeted.
Yeah.
That's why they're targeted.
You know who I felt really bad for was the guy's girlfriend.
I did too. That end, when she saw the pictures and she took off the coat and dropped the necklace, she was so defeated. I felt so
because
bad for her.
he'd been giving her all this stuff, expensive necklaces, expensive trips out, and we knew.
Yeah, we knew.
We knew he didn't care for her. She was just a woman.
Yep, and that's exactly what he said. She's just a woman.
Just a woman.
She was a trophy. She was a trophy. Literally.
But she thought she was special. She was the young, stupid one that didn't get it yet.
Naive. I wouldn't say the S word, but naive. And her friend tried to tell her. Her friend said, he means nothing to you, but she was swept up in it. And I think that was something to do with his charm. He was charming, and she probably wasn't used to such a charming, supposedly rich man paying attention to her. Yeah. And she wanted out, I mean, she probably made minimum wage. She wasn't going to really, take the world by storm, where she was at that point, and she wanted something different. And this was her ticket out, so she wanted it to be true. And sometimes if you want something to be true, you turn a blind eye to other red flags. And that's what she did. But I'm glad that they told her in time. I'm glad she didn't get mixed up any further.
Yeah. The whole... I had to do a face palm when the policeman, the lady bit his hand. So, they walk in the room, and this we knew this woman was going into labor because we'd seen a short bit before. But they walk in the room, and the policeman's holding his hand and says, "She bit me." And I was like, dude, she's got a huge belly. She's grabbing at herself and moaning in pain. She's in labor. Stunned.
But I will say this, back then, the man did not witness birth. I know that because in 1971, my own father didn't witness my birth. He was in the lobby watching football.
Oh, yeah, that's true. But he couldn't have missed the fact she was pregnant.
I would hope not. But, people are sometimes, I mean, they just don't get the most obvious clues.
Well, I mean, I initially felt bad for the baby.
I did too.
When they shot the Czech dad, I felt really bad. I felt a little angry because the nurse holding the baby, the woman's baby, she should have run back into the hospital. She just stood there as guns are going off. What
I guess she might have been in shock because I'm sure she's not used to gunfire. So she might have just been shocked by it.
Maybe, but it's hard to forgive a woman holding a baby in her arms, not trying to get to safety.
I would have crouched down. I think if I had a baby in my arms, I would at least crouch down and hold it.
The mother, of course, went to jail, and she brutally murdered that girl's mother. So
yes, she did.
There was no way that mom was gonna survive.
I was surprised when Maigret said in this country we still have the guillotine. He said guillotine. That took me out of it. Guillotine. I was surprised. I mean, I figured they had capital punishment, for a while, but I didn't realize they still had the guillotine in 1952. That'd be interesting to find out if that's true.
I think it was 55.
Oh.
Guillotine used in 1955 France. Capital punishment in France. I don't see it. So I don't know when they stopped using it.
Let's see. When was I can't spell guillotine. Guillotine. Oh, it pre-filled it. Stopped in France. It pre-filled it for me. Oh. September 1981?
Wow.
What? They were still using the guillotine in 1981? I'm going to put this in our group chat and also in the YouTube chat so you can look at it. Holy mother of all that is good and holy. God dang it. 1981. And this poor person. Yeah.
Yeah, well, I mean, it's a little more humane maybe than other forms of execution, but still, she had a baby.
I mean, I watched this whole documentary on how horrible injections are. So I understand injections are horrible too, but the guillotine. I mean, the ding coming down your neck, 1981.
Yeah.
We think of Maria. I think of Marie Antoinette when I think about the guillotine. Yes. I think about Blackadder time. I don't think about September 1981. Guillotine, 1981. Punk rockers were going, what the hell? We're using the guillotine? What the hell? I mean, Duran Duran was starting out and they were using the guillotine. That's messed up.
It seems really messed up.
Yeah, I didn't realize it was still in use. So at the time that this was set, they still had a good 30 years left using the guillotine.
Well, I mean, capital punishment, period, is pretty inhumane.
I don't like it. I'm not a fan, but it's just me. But, you know, I realize I'm a hypocrite sometimes because I say that. But when I'm watching a movie, I'm like, kill him. Kill him. But that's usually only if the person is crazy.
Rapists, I think that in my brain about rapists and child molesters, all of them in my brain, that's what that's what I say. Just gone, take them out. Take them out to the garbage.
Yeah. So I think a lot of us can be hypocritical like that. I don't believe that capital punishment is the right way to go. It's very gruesome to me. I don't think that we should have that power. And you don't punish something with the same thing. You don't punish murder with murder. But at the same time, if I'm watching a show, I watched John Wick this last weekend, and I'm like, kill him. Well, that's because he was going to kill John Wick. And you don't kill John Wick. So he had it coming.
Yeah.
Killed John Wick. So they deserved it. But everybody else, Hannibal Lecter can get the guillotine.
Yeah.
Not everybody.
I also noticed an Easter egg.
Yes.
In the second episode.
Okay.
If you're looking at like about 1 hour, 13 minutes as they're on the racetrack and horses are being announced, there's a horse called Maigret that is announced.
No way! I did not even notice that.
It's lightning fast, but it happens.
Hilarious. That is hilarious. Oh my goodness. That's so funny. As I wonder why they did that, because Maigret doesn't seem like a obvious name. It's not a name I've ever heard before.
No, I don't know how common a name it is, but I just thought it was pretty cool.
Yeah, it's like you have to be careful. You're like Maigret, but that's his name.
I'd bet on a horse named Maigret. That'd be great.
I would too, because I think you would win.
Couple bucks at least. Come on, couple bucks at least.
And you know what? Maigret has so much determination because the stupid man in charge of his department told him to drop his case. And he said, no, I'm not going to. And he kept, I guess that's when he called in sick. And he kept investigating it, even when the dude in charge said, don't investigate. And it's a good thing he did, because it turned out to be, I mean, if he hadn't gone through his investigation, they would have never figured out who was doing the farm murders.
Exactly.
So he broke open not only his case, but their case.
Yep.
So respect.
I know there are at least 2 seasons of Maigret, and each, I believe I'm not sure how many episodes are in the second season. We watched just 2 episodes of the first season.
Me too.
I know they're based on the books. I don't remember who wrote the books. They're based on the books, so if you've read the books, you might actually be really interested in it.
And I noticed when I was looking up on an Amazon, there's a Maigret from 1992.
Yes, there is. It's definitely nowhere near, my personal opinion, nowhere near as good as Rowan Atkinson.
Okay. And
other people may have more, other opinions. I just like Rowan Atkinson in a serious role.
In Hungary, speaking English with an English accent.
Yeah,
although I will say
English accent in a fake French town.
Yeah, in a fake French town, in a fake French country, because it's Hungary.
Yeah.
But I will say the few times he said French words, he had an excellent accent. He really did.
That may be a language he can actually speak.
Which makes me wonder all the more, why didn't they just let him speak French? I would have read the stupid subtitles.
Because subtitles in major English presentations doesn't really seem to go over well. It really doesn't. Now I have not listened to the voiceover. If he does know French, I don't know. Maybe he did do the voiceover.
What voiceover?
Well, there are voiceovers available as well, I believe.
To make it French.
Yeah.
Oh. Yeah, I didn't do that.
I haven't looked for where we go. Oh, is that
how insulting is that to have a French voiceover, a sub for French? I was thinking about it. Imagine if in England they did a show that was supposed to be set in America, but they all had English accents.
Oh, actually, I think the only language they had was English, because even on Amazon.
What the hell are y'all doing?
You're freezing.
Yeah,
I think the only language that's available is English. I can see you. Can you hear me?
That sucks. I can hear you.
Oh, you can hear me?
You can't hear me?
I can hear you, yes. Okay.
I can hear you. Okay.
I think the only language available is English, because even on Amazon, it only has English available. Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That sucks. It's kind of insulting. I mean, it's supposed to take place in Paris, but it's not even available in French language. It's a little insulting.
Well, it does seem a bit insulting, doesn't it?
Yeah,
to have all what are blatantly English actors making a French show.
Supposedly, you have French set show. It is a little obnoxious.
Yeah,
but
a little bit.
But I got into it. I really did not like it at first because of that. I was really put off. But I started to think less about that and just get into the show, and it was okay.
Yeah, I got into Maigret's character really quickly.
Me too. He's so dedicated.
He's very dedicated.
And he takes it personally, and his responsibility means a lot to him.
It does.
And I find that sexy. That's hot. So hot.
H-A-W-T. H-A-W-T.
H-A-W-T. Hot.
It's hard to think of Rowan Atkinson as being hot, but the acting makes it hot.
Yeah, it makes it hot. Oh, please don't do a sheep. Please don't, because we're going to talk about Blackadder. Oh, please don't do a sheep. I can't think about hot and a sheep.
It's the Eliza Schlesinger joke. If you
I don't know what that is.
If you haven't seen the stand-up comic Eliza Schlesinger, she's really funny. She does the goat noise.
Oh, okay. All right.
It's cute. Oh, and then we went on to watch Blackadder,
which is awesome. Although I will say it doesn't hold up to when I first saw it, and there are some parts where it doesn't hold up at all because some of it's just racist. But you went to season 3, right?
Well, no, I went to episode 3.
Okay, I mean episode 3.
I had to go out and do stuff, and like work and a lot stuff. So, but it's Blackadder. Even I know our producer doesn't necessarily like the first season.
It's not the best.
He prefers the second season on.
And see, I prefer the one that I got introduced to was the one with Queen Elizabeth.
Oh, so yes. Oh my goodness. Oh, she's so flagrant.
She is crazy. And so that's the one I'm most familiar with because I got started with that one. I had to go back and watch the first one. So I've watched more of the one with Queen Elizabeth, but I still like the first season. I actually sat there and just let it play while I was supposed to be taking a nap. And there's only one episode that I didn't care for, and that was, I think it was the 5th one. It was the Witch Whisperer one.
Oh, yeah.
It was just kind of odd, and it just didn't seem in place, and it didn't really add to the story. But one of my favorites, I think, was the first episode, because that's also the first episode is one I remember the most because of Richard III and Henry Tudor. In my mind, I guess I invented a whole season in my head, because in my head, I thought that Richard III and Henry Tudor hung around for the whole season. I was thinking that Richard III haunted him the whole season, but apparently he doesn't.
No, he only did that for one episode.
Yeah, they should have done that more.
No, but the first one, poor Edmund, Rowan Atkinson plays Edmund, and he kills Richard III
by accident
with one swipe of his sword.
Man, you know what? They should have had that in Game of Thrones, because remember, one of the characters couldn't kill someone with one swipe. He was like hacking at the person.
Well, that was more realistic.
That was more
supposed to be realistic.
Yeah. I don't think just one swipe would do the job. But yeah, that was so hilarious. That was so funny. He was late to the battle, and he was trying to get out of it. He was like, they don't really need me.
No, they're all fighting. I'll just go.
I'm just going to go. And then, of course, he thinks someone is stealing his horse, and his pompousness comes forward. You know, his sense of entitlement and ownership came forward. And he said, that's my horse. You can't have my horse. And without even knowing who it was, he swipes and chops the head off. Oops, it's his king. Oops, I did it again. Yeah, he killed this king. And then he saved the enemy king. He nursed back to health Henry Tudor. I'm like, you got it backwards, dear. He's such a moron.
The bumblingness with which Rowan Atkinson plays Edmund is just hilarious. It's really hilarious.
Especially all the times when he's groveling, all the times in the episodes where he's like, oh no, I didn't mean that. I meant this instead. Like he's trying to cover for what he said to get out of trouble. Oh no, I meant this.
Yeah, like he's trying to prove his brother is a bastard when he's actually.
That was hilarious. Dude, do your math before you do that. He didn't even pay attention. He was like, in 1460, this is when they had their affair. And then someone went 9 months after Harry was born. And he was like, they went, but 9 months before you were born. Tear it up. It's like, do your math.
Let me see those letters. No, I shall tear them up here so he cannot use them in his foulness.
Traitor. Fire. That foul Scottish traitor, a.k.a. your half-brother.
I challenge you to a duel. And he turns around and goes, fine, to the death.
Uh-oh. And then I guess the McAngus must have been a doofus too, because McAngus stuck his head in the cannon, and we'd already seen this plan. They'd already talked about this plan. Yeah. He stuck his head in the cannon. He was like, oh, I don't see him. Poof. End of episode.
Yep.
That was awesome. I was like, sorry, McAngus. Bye.
And then Edmund comes out with all these fancy new clothes because he had lied about all these nobles he had killed.
Yeah.
The guy, I killed this one and that one, and the more he said, the more he tried to get away with, and
he kept getting himself caught because he wouldn't let his brother finish, because his brother would be like, and so, and he'd be like, he'll never walk again, and Harry would be like, he's coming next weekend. So if he hadn't been so quick and let his brother finish, he wouldn't have got himself caught. But he was always getting himself caught because of his pomposity. He's really good at playing pompous characters.
Very, very good at playing pompous characters. Pompous, overbearing,
Oh yeah, stupid, lack of foresight. Yeah.
Now, here's where I know that Blackadder actually didn't have much of a budget to start with.
Oh yeah, I can see that.
Only somebody trained in horsemanship would have noticed.
Yeah.
Richard III started out with what's called a curb bit. It's a very harsh bit when you put the reins on the correct part of the bit. On the bottom, those two little sticks that hang down, if you put it right there and you pull, it pulls the horse's head in, but it's very sharp and it can be very painful. But this guy's sawing on the horse's rein, just chucking the horse in the mouth constantly. And the next scene I see, the reins have changed their position and they're on the bit itself, so he can't do anything else to the horse.
And see, I would have never known that. I would have never thought of that.
That curb bit must have been the only thing they could come up with for King Richard III's horse. Or that was just the bridle that they sent with the horse. So they're all, okay, we can't kill the horse, and this guy can't ride.
Yeah. So I guess they made their little compromise.
They made a little compromise so that the guy riding King Richard III wouldn't kill the horse, and, you know.
Yeah.
But Edmund's horse. Oh my God, Edmund has the most beautiful horse ever.
See, I didn't even think about that.
This massive black creature with the flowing black mane and tail, and like, you know, fanciness itself. He looks like it's built for a king, and Edmund's riding it to herd sheep.
And you know, Edmund wants to be king. He's got the fancy clothes, and he just sits up really straight like he's king, but then he just steps in his own shit every single time.
Assuming his dad, the Richard IV is dead.
Yeah, his father was not dead, and he was all ready to set to be king. He was like, Richard IV is dead. Oh no, it's gonna be hard to kill that guy.
Yeah, no, he was armed with nothing but cutlery, and he
did it.
Survived the Crusades.
He did it. All he had was his fruit knife. You know who he reminded me of? He reminded me of King Baratheon, Robert Baratheon from Game of Thrones.
Oh, yes. That pompous, big-headed, fat.
And having sex with all the women of the land, and, you know, pomposity.
Going out to try to kill boars.
Yeah, and that's supposedly what got him killed. Yeah, and you know, wanting to fight and just always wanting to fight, and that just big personality. He really reminded me of him. Yep. I think maybe that was something of what Game of Thrones, what he was based on, some of that kind of type character.
It was. There were elements of other humorous, like Monty Python-ish type jokes.
Oh, very much so.
A lot of Monty Python-ish jokes. So if that's the kind of humor that our listeners are looking for, and you've never seen Blackadder starts in King Richard's time, and then it moves on to Catherine's time, and then it winds up in it was World War I, right?
Well, it's Elizabeth, and then I don't remember much about the later times. I'm not even sure how much I watched of the later times.
I know our producer, Rumpy Pumpy. Oh, God, Rumpy Pumpy. Catherine, and then I'm sure it was either World War I or World War II.
I vaguely remember that. I didn't watch it that much. I kind of stopped at the Elizabeth. I heard that there were later episodes, but I'm not even sure if I ever watched them.
I know I've watched most of them, but I have to go back and watch them again when I have time.
Yeah.
I like those, but not as much as the ones with Catherine.
Yeah, I like that.
They treated her to Elizabeth. I keep on saying Catherine.
I know. I was saying it's Elizabeth. It's
2 is
Queen.
Elizabeth. 2 is Elizabeth. 3 is Napoleon, and 4 is World War I.
And see, I'm not even sure if I watched the 4th one, because those weren't readily available back in the day. They didn't have streaming services, and you had to either buy the DVD or videotape yourself, or know someone who had them. And I happen to know someone who had the first 3 seasons. That's the only reason I saw this. I saw that over at someone else's apartment.
And I know there was another comedian that came into it. Oh my goodness. His name is like right on the tip of my tongue.
In the first season or one of the later seasons?
No, in one of the later seasons.
There are a lot of people in it.
Hugh Laurie.
I forgot. Yeah, he was in it. He was awesome.
Hugh Laurie came into Blackadder as the prince. He was another overbearing, pompous, but he was way more. He was just entirely stupid.
Mm-hmm.
He was just so ignorant. It was unbelievable.
And they made him be like I'm trying to think of a nice way to say it, but the weakly pompous.
Yeah.
That's
right. That's right.
Frou-frou.
Yeah, that's right, Che. Stephen Fry too.
Oh, that's right. He was in it.
You hardly ever see Stephen Fry and Hugh Laurie without each other.
I know. They've done a lot of stuff together, and they're both awesome. In this first season, in the last episode, I think it was the last episode or the second to last episode, it has Rick Mayall from The Young Ones.
Oh, yeah.
He plays Madge Harrell. It was nice to see him. It actually has a lot of people. I was looking on our show notes. I put the IMDb for a lot of people. There are a lot of people that I know that I'm familiar with since then. Like the guy who played Percy has been in a lot of stuff since then. He was actually in Game of Thrones, several episodes.
And the guy who played Baldric is Tony Robinson.
Yeah. I think I've seen him in other stuff. I can't quite remember, but I'm pretty sure I've seen him in other stuff.
That's right. We lost Peter Benson just last year.
I know. Isn't that crazy? He played Henry Tudor.
Yeah.
And the guy who played Richard III was in The Princess Bride.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
And the guy who
was in Shetland.
He was in Shetland.
Yeah, and Angus.
I knew he looked so familiar. So he was Douglas McAngus in this.
The Scottish stallion.
He was so awesome. I loved him. I was like, I wanted him to survive because he was really cool. Let me see who.
Queen.
He played. This was from 2014. He played someone called Cameron Watt, but I can't place what character that was in Shetland. It said Deadwater Part 1 and 2. I can't quite place him. It's the one where it says a journalist is killed in a road accident, and it emerges he was an old pal of Perez. As the investigation progresses, it seems the victim's return to Shetland was connected to plans for a controversial new gas pipeline. Mm-hmm. I remember that, but I just can't remember his character. It's driving me nuts.
I can't remember either.
I know. Oh, wow. And I'm still watching Shetland, huh?
Yeah, I love Shetland. It's awesome.
So good.
Love Shetland.
Love Shetland. My Douglas Henshaw.
Yeah. Well, we actually had 2 really good ones. Especially with the Rowan Atkinson.
Yep.
We've been on. I think Rowan Atkinson week with BritBox is over, but you can still get Maigret on BritBox, and it is available on Amazon with the BritBox Amazon subscription. Once again, it's not the same thing. If you sign up for BritBox on Amazon, you can't just go to the BritBox website to watch. So if you want both the website and Amazon, you have to sign up and pay separately.
That sucks.
Which really does kind of suck. I think if you sign up with Amazon, you ought to be able to access the website.
Well. Yeah.
Because you're paying,
You're paying decent money. I mean, what is it? $8? How much is it a month? $7?
I don't know what the BritBox is because it only says start your 7-day free trial. Oh, yeah. BritBox and Amazon $6.99 per month after trial.
They should let you just go to the website.
They really should let you go to.
But we talked about this before. I have noticed if you go to the Amazon version of BritBox, it doesn't show you everything. So what I do.
Sorry, go ahead.
You can go to the website, even if you're not logged in, you can go to the website and see what they have and then search for it on Amazon. Because sometimes that's the only way you can find cool stuff because it shows you the same 10 things if you just go on Amazon.
That's true. You kind of got to search for it. And that's a fault of Amazon, not BritBox.
Yeah. Amazon needs to do better.
Yep. Step it up, Amazon.
Come on, we're paying money.
Yeah, and both the 1992 version and the 2016 version are on BritBox. Thank you for reminding me, Che.
Yeah, pretty cool. We might have to check out that older version.
I checked it out a little bit. I was not it was okay, but I really like Rowan Atkinson better.
I like Rowan Atkinson.
I could just be biased.
I just love Rowan Atkinson.
Rowan Atkinson is definitely a person I would like to meet.
Mm-hmm.
Mr. Atkinson, if you're out there, I would appreciate a handshake and have a beer with you. That would be very nice.
That would be cool. I was looking for I was searching his name, and I think Johnny English is on Amazon or one of those. That's one I've never seen. I've never seen Johnny English. One of those ones
you haven't seen Mr. Bean either.
I haven't seen Mr. Bean either. Yeah,
Mr. Bean is out there, and it is so. I personally think it's just hilarious.
Okay.
It's hilarious.
I just looked up Johnny English on IMDb, and he's still doing them. They had one in 2018. Johnny English Strikes Again. Yep.
See, it's such a popular mode of watching Rowan Atkinson. He's such a good actor in it. He makes the character, wonderful.
Yeah.
People just keep wanting to watch it.
So now I need to watch this. I really feel like I need to watch this.
Yeah.
I have to look it up. I hope it's available.
Yeah, very, very funny. Funny.
Oh,
okay. Well, I think
Humble Bundle.
I think it's Humble Bundle time.
I can't say Humble Bundle. I always say Humble Bumble.
Humble Bumble.
Humble Bumble. Bumble. Humble Bundle.
Well, could you tell us about the Humble Bundle you found?
Sure. I just happened to be looking at Humble Bundle, and they have a Godzilla comics bundle. And, Godzilla comes out this weekend. I'm going to see it tomorrow, the new version. I love Godzilla. And so for the next 10 days, 17 hours, 1 minute, and 25 seconds, you can get the Godzilla IDW Humble Bundle comics. Let's see what you get. Godzilla Volume 1, 2, 3 by Dwayne Swierczynski. And then Godzilla and Rulers of Earth, Kingdom of Monsters. And that's only with the most bottom tier. You can pay $8 or more and get more. Pay $15 or more to also get Godzilla Half-Century War, Godzilla in Hell, Godzilla Treasury Edition. They've got tons. I mean, it looks like you would get like maybe 15 or 20 comics if you do the full 15. So it's really more than 20, I think.
Yeah, if you're into Godzilla, that is wow. It is definitely looks worth it, and we will make sure to put that on our Twitter today.
Yeah.
We have already put out another Humble Book bundle. If you're a maker, computer graphics maker, computer graphics by CRC Press, $700 worth of awesome making, including for the $1 or more tier, 3D engine design, uncanny valley in games and animation, production for rendering, and real-time volume graphics. That's just at the $1. Pay $8 or more, and you'll get essential skills in character rigging, OpenGL insights, shadows, visual effects, graphic shaders. If you're trying to get into computer graphics, this is definitely worth your time, because a lot of this is worth a lot of money. And our link for that is already on our Twitter, but we will put it out again. It is only available for the next 1 day, 16 hours.
So get on it.
Take advantage. And I'm gonna take the opportunity to do a little marketing of my own.
Go for it, Hunchback.
I'm Linda Tepler, and Hunchback is available on audiobook on Audible. It's out. It's out on Audible. If you're an Audible fan, go looking for it. Hunchback by Linda Tepler. That's Teppler. It is also available in ebook. And if you want an open version, but if you want an open version, but you can't find it anywhere else, it is available on audiobooks.com and a bunch of other sites. If you can't find it anywhere that you really want it, contact me through my website, which is lindatepler.com, and I can make sure that you get a copy of it, and I accept PayPal. Absolutely fantastic. It's a lovely little steampunk adventure. I think everybody would enjoy it.
And you've worked very hard on it.
And the sound, I was listening to the sound on it, and the sound is so good.
Nice.
Our own production manager took so many hours to make it beautiful, and it sounds perfect.
It's worth it. It's a lot of hard work, but the finished product,
Absolutely.
I'm so happy for you.
Well, Lola, I know you have a book out too.
Well, it's been out for a long time. I need to finish my second book.
It's still it's still a wonderful read.
Thank you. It's called Trudy Lim, Spaceship Captain, Earth Detective. And I'm still playing with the character because we've been doing our little chat novel, and Trudy Lim is a character in it. So she's still going strong. And one day I will do more books in the series, and one day I will finish my second book, and one day I will update all of my Twitters and all of my Facebooks. But right now, the best place to find me is Twitter at Lola Lariscy, LOLALARISCY.
And Shay wants you to record the audiobook again.
Well, it took me a year to record that.
Yeah, on the next book too. You could just forget the first one and just do the next one.
I'll do the next one. Yeah, and maybe he can help me. I would appreciate that very much, because I don't think I can do it on my own again. It took me a year solid.
No, you're not on your own with us around.
That's good.
You don't have to do this all by yourself.
That would be helpful, because I don't think I can do it. It took a lot out of me. I mean, like, I never wanted to see Audacity again. Yeah,
it took me a month. After I finished the audiobook, it took me a month. I had to take a month away from it and not listen to it anymore. And then when I came back to it, I realized, it's not a piece of junk. My book is actually pretty good.
Doesn't that make you feel good?
It makes you feel good when you go back to it after a break and you realize, it's
fresh
good.
Ears. You listen to fresh ears and you're like, this is pretty good.
It's pretty good.
It's worth someone to spend money. It's worth it.
And do you still live tweet on your Twitter?
I do it. I actually do it on Scanner Drums at Scanner Drum Mag. Yeah. That's where I do the live tweeting. I don't do as many shows as I used to, but I tend to do The Flash. Sometimes I'll do Supergirl. I did Game of Thrones. I do Walking Dead.
Yeah.
That's pretty much what I live tweet.
Well, we'll keep bothering you to write more.
I'm going to. It's
I know hard. It's been a rough year for you. It's been a rough year.
It's still rough. I'm still trying to get myself together.
Yep.
One thing at a time.
Well, guys, it has been a wonderful show, and we have thoroughly enjoyed just rehashing Rowan Atkinson and going over his wonderful characters and his wonderful personality and all the rest of the people that have joined him in his efforts. Next week is our politics and controversy episode, and I'm not quite sure what we're going to do. I'm going to try to get an interview for us.
Okay.
We'll see.
Okay. Good. Good.
Well, guys, I hope you have enjoyed this episode, and I hope you've enjoyed spending time with us and drinking great beer. And I would like to encourage you to go out and find beer events in your area. If you have no idea what beer events are in your area, you should definitely go to the top of the document, Linda.
Yeah, just look.
Go to beerfests.com and type in your city or type in your state, and they will list as many events near you as possible so you can get to those beer events and try some new beers and try some new breweries and let us know all about it. We're on MeWe. We're on Twitter, and you can click on, if you would like to support us, you can click on any of our links on lindatepler.com, Very Good Entertainment, and we would appreciate your support because your support helps us make this podcast possible. We really do love you, and we hope that you have a really great night and have a really great beer.
Still waiting.
Always awkward.
I know.